Only American Podcasts. I am your host, Douglas, and we got
August Wolf.
Isaac Bowen.
And
Gross.
we're going to keep it real, not too real and not too serious, but we're going to just go ahead and random subjects. I was thinking of one earlier that was things that make you lose stress, activities, things you can do.
Things
Stress
that you can
reducer.
do in your daily life that make life easier.
Yeah, lower cortisol, get
think-
your mind off of things that are stressing you out.
We might have brought this up in some kind of previous episode, but I do think one of the biggest things that's often overlooked by modern people is getting outside, and it's getting nicer outside. At least where we're at. I don't know if where August
wherever
is at
you're
this
at.
episode or not, but where we're at, it's starting to get a little sunnier. Spring is taking a hold, so just getting out there, which I need to do more of for sure. Walking in nature, getting some of that fresh forest or whatever the fresh ocean air, whatever. Wherever the fresh air is for you, getting outside and doing that, having a stroll at least once a day, maybe for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour, whatever you're feeling, that will definitely help.
Yeah,
it's almost like working out.
It's annoying, but working out, you don't think that
Yeah.
it has that effect on you, but it has that effect on me every time. So I try to pretend it doesn't.
Totally.
Because
People
It has that effect on almost everybody. It's just most people won't get up and actually do it. And I'm guilty of the same thing too many times,
Totally same. And it's just a lot of people say to me, they just don't like going to the gym because it's a tough thing to do. And I get that. But the reward after, like, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't have any of this burst of endorphins or anything like that. But you do. It's just spread out over a long period of time, over like 20 hours or a day and a half or something. And that one workout, that one hard workout for half hour, an hour more, will pay dividends in the future for the next 24 or 48 hours. And if you consistently do it, you're going to look 10, 20 years younger when you're 40, 50, 60, whatever. And not back to the original thing. It would relieve stress on the daily, which honestly will also help you live longer. I mean, that's the number one killer, right? Stress of
Yeah, and I feel like physical stress is, I mean, for me, I've done training for a long period of time, throwing knives, spears, combat training. Like I have a built up, like I'm frustrated if I'm not getting my physical, like if I'm not doing something with my body that takes some sort of strain, then I think stress is just building up. Hitting the punching bag. It's not in frustration, but just the exerting that energy.
And sometimes that is what's needed. I mean, there's a lot of people who have high stress lives in the United States, especially in big cities, or even not even limited to, but there's just a lot of stress out there. Sometimes people need that because you're going to have to take that out somehow. And if you're not hitting the bag or working out or getting a stroll and, there's a lot of overthinkers out there too, riding a bike, anything like that. There's a lot of overthinkers. I'm one of them. I think we all are to some degree.
It depends on the subject. I think we all are, depending on the subject. Whatever subject people tend to overthink on, it's something that they enjoy and they hyper criticize, and so they tend to dig into it a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Physical exercise definitely is one of the top ones, just to reset yourself. Getting a good night's sleep, actually, that's something that I have not
I need to focus more on
in my life. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I'll stay up playing games or hanging out with friends the other night until midnight, beyond 1, 2, and it's just like getting to sleep around the same time every night. But even more importantly, apparently, is waking up at the same time. Because your body will reset. So if you're waking up at 7 a.m. or if you're waking up at 9 a.m., whatever, somewhere maybe before that.
Getting a rhythm, I definitely need to work on getting a rhythm. I do not have a very good rhythm at the moment.
Exactly. I'm so weirdly consistent these days. Like I basically wake up between 4:30 and 5:30 every day, regardless. Like sometimes if I push later into the night, I'll sleep till 7, and on my day off and be like, whoa, I slept so late. And it's like in the winter I'm still up basically before the sun, and it's just. Yeah, but I'm in bed by like 9 or 10 p.m. every day.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do. And then getting your lighting and not looking at your phone and those sort of things towards the end of the day. I need to get better at that as well, because that's typically when I will take up my phone and take a look at it.
The worst thing I do for going to bed, like I'm good at not looking at my phone in bed, or at least not very much. Like I'll maybe watch something on my phone for a little while when I lay down, but when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get ready to go to sleep. Well, I have to put my freaking Vader mask on, so that's part of the ritual that definitely helps
And your body
and
gets
then,
used to it. Used to
for
those
sure, it goes,
signals
oh,
and starts the
this thing's on
process.
my face. It's time to shut down.
The CPAP, is that the name?
Yeah. Well,
so
mine's a BiPAP. So
Okay.
it doesn't. CPAP is constant pressure, so it's just pushing all the time.
This one swings both ways.
Yeah, it doesn't suck, but it pushes a lot less. And then when it senses me breathe in, it pushes really hard to help me breathe in, and then it pushes way less on my exhale. So it just basically what happens, and this happens to a lot of people, is when with the CPAP, they like stop using their muscles and just allow the machine to like do all the work.
Like the ventilators and the
I'm actually
what's it called? COVID.
Yeah, but it's really bad.
I'm super against a lot of over-the-counter medications and a lot of medications in general if you don't absolutely need it. And that is one of the reasons is your body naturally creates these things. Like melatonin, there was a time where I played around with the idea of that'd be nice to just start knocking myself out, basically. But then you do some research, anything you do consistently, if your body produces it naturally, you're just not using it. You're not using what your body produces.
I forgot this until just now that with the melatonin thing, I took it in my early 20s, even late teens, especially early 20s though. And I swear, like, stress is one of them that brought this on, is the sleep paralysis. Melatonin is almost like clockwork. I have sleep paralysis, or I've had it for a long time, and I haven't had an episode or whatever for years now, which is great. But I had it really quite bad from about 18 to 25 or so. I think I've talked about this before. But one of the triggers for bringing that sleep paralysis on was melatonin, or was taking a supplemental melatonin. So I thought that was really odd. And some people have said, it's brought upon by stress and whatnot, but I know that melatonin can give you crazy dreams. I know you can use it to reset your circadian rhythm, or people use it for jet lag, stuff like that. But I have not taken it since I figured out that was basically a trigger for it. And it's, the more that I took, the more it would be.
I've only tested out with it, and for that thing, just getting into the circadian rhythm, not like I want to take melatonin every night so that I can consistently. Just
you should never take melatonin every night.
I was thinking just to start the consistent habit of get to bed at this, tell my body that we shut down at this time. And so I was just taking it for a couple of nights, but I stopped after 3 nights because I've noticed that I wake up dry as a motherfucker. Like my mouth was dry, my eyes were dry, and I don't have that problem normally. And I don't know what that is.
It makes me like groggy. Like the wake up the next day, instead of being 5 minutes of rubbing the sleep and doing my thing, it's like a 20 to 30 minute thing of actually waking up if I use melatonin. Because I do still use melatonin, but only when it's like I need it. If it's a thing where, okay, I'm staying up too late and my body's getting used to that, I need to I need to push my sleep back. Or if it's like I get home from work and I've had it, a day, and my brain is just going, I'm like, okay, I need to shut myself down today. Because if I stay up till 1 a.m. and then I'm up at 4:30, I will be dysfunctional. So 11 o'clock, I'll take my melatonin and just be groggy for that next morning. But then the next night, because I did that, I'm definitely tired by 8-9 o'clock p.m. Like, okay, ready to go to sleep. I don't think I've taken melatonin more than 2 days in a row in a long time. And like, I like melatonin. I would recommend it for people, but I would always say never ever take it on any kind of consistent basis.
Yeah, and that goes for a lot of things.
You want to use it as a reset, exactly like you guys are saying. It is to essentially kick your body into sleeping in a correct fashion.
And I was pretty smart as a kid. I Pavloved myself to go to sleep with the sound of a bell that I made up. So if I couldn't go to sleep, I would hear a bell, and it would ring like a church bell off in the distance. I remember this very vividly because the first time I started doing it, it was when I would yawn. So whenever I would yawn, I would make myself hear the couple of slow bells. And then when I needed to go to sleep, I would cue the bell, and it would make me yawn. So it went the opposite direction after a while. So I was playing tricks on my brain basically to get me to go to sleep when I wanted to.
That's really cool. I used to have a really hard time going to sleep as a kid. Like I would get freaked out by the sound of my own heartbeat. Like I would lay there because I grew up in North Idaho, in the middle of nowhere, so it's so quiet at night.
Oh yeah, that's next level quiet, right?
like I could hear we were a little over a quarter mile from the highway, but I could hear cars drive by. The super rare car, I could hear it drive by. It was
Because it's the
so
one
quiet.
thing different. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it would get to the point where all I would hear is dup, 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 dup. And it would start to freak. Like I would get scared of my own heartbeat and like go run. Mom, Dad, what do I do? Dude, my dad got so good. He taught me square breathing, and like it's where we like in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And like that helped a ton in just like getting me to calm down, focus on my breath instead of my blood, and like did all kinds of tricks to my brain, like taught me how to stop hiccuping just by like essentially mentally forcing my muscles to stop.
Yeah, my dad, he would
contracting.
always do the dollar thing. He'd be like, I'll give you $1 if you hiccup again. And every single time it would work.
Couldn't hiccup. That's great.
No, he was just a mental trap.
No,
he's like, I'll give you $1 if you hiccup again.
Well, what I do now as an adult, because the mind thing doesn't work as well for me for stopping hiccups, but I can swallow air, like I can push air into my stomach.
Yeah.
And when I realized I could do that, I was like, if I can push it into my stomach, I can push it into my lungs. So what I do is I take as deep a breath as I possibly can, and then I literally force air into my lungs. Like I make my lungs hurt by pushing air into them. And I hold that for as long as I can.
I used
and
to
then go away every time.
I used to take Bonotopes to learn that one.
Oh
no, I'm not kidding. I swear that's why I had such crazy lung capacity when we were kids. Because like I spent years stretching my lungs by like forcibly making them bigger.
Yeah, that's also a scuba diving technique.
Oh yeah.
They use that forcing air into your lungs and in training scuba divers.
Well, yeah, because I know
lung
there's
pressure and control is huge.
Yeah, and like with avoiding the bends, like if you do need to ascend quickly, like you have to essentially breathe out not only the extra room, but like you have to breathe out on the entirety of the ascent because that air is expanding while you're coming up.
Yeah,
and yeah, I've heard some crazy stories.
Anybody gone scuba diving?
Only like I've only done snorkel stuff.
Okay, so I went scuba diving one time in the Keys, and I was my dad had trained and done scuba diving training at some point, and so he gave me the whole rundown. We were in a pool. He gave us all the training, talked about breathing up as you go up all the way. But I was too young to legally go scuba diving, so I was too young to rent equipment. So we went to a thrift store and got me like the smallest contraption you could and smallest tank. And I actually had a what the hell is it called? I had one of the life vests underneath it because I was too small to have the tank contraption.
Yeah, it would just flop around.
Right. So I had the safety vest. None of this is by standard. I don't recommend, but it was an amazing
Not
memory.
OSHA approved.
Not OSHA approved. And then I had the tank on, and then I had tons of belts of sandbags to keep the buoyancy of the belt from lifting me up. Yeah. So I was playing with buoyancy in order to get it done, but it was absolutely amazing. And I saw jellyfish. There was some sort of jellyfish that it might be mating. They were all just laying on their heads on the ocean floor, and their tentacles were up in the air.
And I've seen pictures of that.
It just looked like a field of grass. I thought it was seaweed. Cool. I did not think it was jellyfish at all. But as soon as you start stirring up some of the ground and they flip over, I was like, this is insane. It was just as far as the eye could see was jellyfish.
A whole different world down there. Whole different world. I've only done the snorkeling as well. But I mean, even just right there, seeing that in Mexico. And I think I did it in Hawaii a long time ago. But it's a crazy world.
Yeah, but still beautiful stuff.
But it's
I learned some of the the breather techniques just because my dad was a firefighter, and so like I did some of the pool training they do because they train to be able to go underwater and with the fire stuff.
Okay.
And so like I know how to like clear it. Like you don't put it in your mouth underwater and breathe in because it's full of water. You have to like clear it underwater.
Yeah.
So like the main thing is having breath, putting it in, breathing out so you clear everything, and then you can breathe in from it. And that's like one of the things that I think Daniel Radcliffe, when they were filming that for Harry Potter, the underwater scenes, it was like the first thing he did is, make sure you have breath in your lungs so that you can clear it when you put it back in. And he forgot that, breathed out completely, stuck it in his mouth and went, oh crap, I have to go up. And yeah, it's there's a lot of cool, crazy techniques with it. I have learned some of the scuba techniques, but
yeah, and I
never got to
also
do it.
in that same scuba diving adventure, I saw a barracuda that was like a Disney villain. My dad and my brother had like swam off in the distance, and I was just enamored by everything that was in front of me and looking at the jellyfish. And there was like there was a dock that was just like broken down, so it just looks like ruins with all the jellyfish that were out there. And I look up and I see Dad and my brother way off in the distance, and then I turn and I'm face to face with like a 4.5 foot, 5 foot barracuda, and he's got a scar down his eye, and his eye is blind. I'm not even shitting you. It was like straight up Disney villain staring him down. And barracudas can actually fuck with you. Like
Oh yeah.
Like for my size, it could have taken a hand off. For an average person, it could still take a finger off. It wouldn't be able to like maul you to death, most likely. But
don't they have some pretty big, scary teeth?
Don't they have some they can bite. They can bite shit off. And so he's looking at me, and I swear to you, he's sizing me up. He's deciding whether or not this is worth it.
Is this worth it?
Yeah, because I'm just big enough, but my two counterparts are way off in the distance, so I'm just a little boy with his scuba gear.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just start swimming my fucking heart out and get back to the group. He stops bothering us, but Dad said when we went back to shore, he was turning around and this barracuda was right behind me, like a couple of feet. Even when we were going into shore afterwards, he was still eyeballing me like, can I like take a little piece of that?
Maybe.
Well, then I had a similar experience actually, but not scuba diving or snorkeling. We had this, kind of snorkeling tour thing. And I think it was by Puerto Vallarta, somewhere in that area in Mexico. And we went out there, and it was a reef, right? And we seen all these crazy fish and all this cool stuff. So I swam a little bit further away from the main group, away from the family. And I looked down, and right off the side of the reef was a pretty long shark. Probably only 5 or 6 feet long, but to me at the time, what was I, 4 feet tall or something? I was like 11 or 12, maybe.
It's funny. Everything's
like,
much
oh my
bigger
god!
Back
And it's
in
just
the day.
looking at you, like looking up at you, like, is that worth it? Like, it's not that far away, maybe 20 feet in the water. I was like, oh shit! So I started swimming. I was like, but I was fine.
Get back to the group.
Exactly.
Show him your nub. Show him the nub leg.
Yes, exactly.
From the end of that story.
But I haven't done any of the underwater in the ocean. Like all my stuff was like lake stuff. And my favorite thing was like get a big stone and just like carry it underwater as far. It's how you can stay on the bottom, is just carrying a big rock underwater. And I used to be able to go pretty far. Like I've had a decent lung capacity my whole life. And
the pressure in my head, I have to retrain the pressure because I just went to Florida just last week, and I swam down into one of the springs, and I got, maybe only like 5-6 feet. And the pressure on my head, I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot about the pressure.
I've always had a problem with that. Even just the deeper end at the pool here, like anything more than about 14, 15 feet for me, it gets a lot of pressure going on. Me and another person that we know, one of our old friends, used to have swimming battles in the deep end of like trying to get 2 bricks. I think they're maybe like 5-pound, 10-pound bricks or whatever. And we would have to get both of them and go to the top. But it's really hard to swim, and even with 1 brick. So we would just battle each other all the time without actually hurting each other, obviously. Yeah. But like underwater wrestling, basically, and that is a very
that one
hard
friend
thing to
who
do.
died, but we don't talk about him.
He's not dead, but, we haven't seen him for a while. I'll tell you that.
No, but those are fun games, and I remember I used to be able to go 16 feet without feeling that pressure, so I know I'm out of it as far as
somewhere
the deep
around
swimming
there.
Stuff.
I've definitely always felt the pressure, but it's never really gotten to me. It probably would nowadays because I have some weird ear stuff. Like I had it really bad. We flew into New Orleans, and like because we stopped in LA, I pressurize by like plugging my nose and breathing out, and it, like pops your ears. And I've always done that on a flight. That's just been like the thing is you go up, I do it on the way back down, do it a couple more times, and everything's fine. But for whatever reason, because we did it going into LA and I did it like normal, went up again. And when we were up, I did it and it just felt a little weird. And I'm like, whatever. Like, I'll just write that off. It felt weird, but I'm fine. And then on our descent, it like went and I went to do it. And as soon as I did it, my ear just like hurt so bad. And then the pressure like went out and around and up into my sinuses. It hurt under my eye. It hurt above my eye. I was literally like trying to massage my sinuses
to like, get the air pressure out of there. Yeah,
dude, it hurt after the landing. It hurt all the way to the car. Like by the time we were in the rental car driving, it was kind of subsided.
But it was like
the worst I'd ever felt it. Ever since then, I do it so gently now. Like I just push enough to make my ears reset, and then I'm like, okay, no more pressure.
No more
I'm never shoving air into here again. Like
delicate systems.
Yeah, we got a seriously delicate system going on, but also super resilient, and we'll friggin' be able to like. There was that one guy who got a rebarb through his brain, and was able to live through it. Like
there's been a lot of crazy.
He had a hole in his brain, and it just freaking went back to.
People have lost
his personality a little bit, but
people have lost huge parts of their head, but still lived happily, good lives, and almost nothing different. But it's our bodies are pretty resilient. However, coming back to the stress thing, I mean, living a life with less stress will help you live longer, or I guess you should say a proper amount of stress, right?
Yeah,
you don't want to have no stress.
That's something, and this actually ties to the drugs thing as well, is the ashwagandha is something that I did add to my coffee for a period in time. And I looked up that it does lower your cortisol, but if you take it long enough, the natural amount of cortisol that you should be getting, you stop getting. And so that's like that's also fight or flight response. That's also things that keep you safe. A certain amount of stress you need to have in order to keep you alert and aware.
Right.
What do you mean? We're always safe. We live in America.
Well, I'm always stressed. We live in America.
Speaking of which, there has been talk that it's possible there could be some. I don't want to say there's an imminent attack, but there's, you know what I mean? With the current climate of what's going on. I mean, I do feel pretty safe. I mean, even since 2001, with all the stuff as being really locked down, especially recently in the last 5-10 years. However, that doesn't mean that things can't slip through the cracks.
No, and then fear mongering is very high, and if anybody's watching social media, it's very eminent if you watch social media that something's going to happen. But then there was that weird thing about California maybe having a drone attack, and then those drones that got stolen from a military base, like after that news came out. And so there's some weirdness.
And then one of the world's largest billionaires bought a building in downtown LA and immediately insured it. And you're like,
I saw that.
Did he insure it for terrorist attack? Looking awfully 9/11 over here.
It's happening again. Crazy. Oh, that's one thing that we could also do. Let's say list that at number 3 or 2 or whatever it is, maybe 4, whatever we're at, is less social media and less media indulgence.
I say stay online, go hug concrete, screw the woods.
Hug
Nobody
concrete.
wants to be there. It's
nice. I have not heard that one. Hug concrete. You concrete hugger. That's the conservative version. You know what? I'm going to go hug a bank. It needs it, you know?
This bank looks really lonely. Well, dude, I mean, I don't know. Either of you ever been to Manhattan?
I've been by it. Only, I've been by it a handful of times because I lived up in that area.
The legitimate, people call it like a concrete jungle. It is the only proper description of what that place is. Like certain parts of it, you're just surrounded by metal, glass, and concrete. There's nothing else anywhere near you except metal, glass, and concrete. Like there's no grass, there's no trees. Like maybe there's one tree like a couple blocks down. And it's wild the way the island of Manhattan is. Now, and like Central Park's huge and beautiful.
Right.
But so much of that island isn't natural in any. I mean, Central Park isn't natural. It's all man-made.
Yeah. And what's underneath that place too? I'm very curious.
Dude,
because there's so much
many
history
tunnels.
there.
So many
much.
tunnels.
Yeah,
well, and when the crazy thing is, when you like ride on the New York City subway system, you don't really realize it until you do it. But there's like tiers on tiers of subway. You'll go down like 4 levels and get on a train, and then when you end up at the other side, you're up at like the top level again, and you're like, wait, so this one goes under those 3, then comes back up and goes over one going the other way. They all do this.
You know, I've always been curious. I've wanted to go check it out, but yeah, I'm definitely
it's so cool.
I bet those
it's super fascinating.
But
it's also oh no, it is.
You know what I mean? Like
you have to be able to essentially, while paying attention to everything, shut out everything else. Like you have to be able to ignore and pay attention to
somebody
so
walking
many
around,
things at once.
I saw somebody walking around with a decibel reader, and I was like, holy shit. Like you're constantly bombarded with all sorts of frequency, and it's all concrete, metal, and glass. So it's all very reflective surfaces as well.
Oh, it's like I love like a car rev, but it's so loud when you're like just in between buildings and you hear like a Ferrari just ding, and you're like, dude, that's so loud. Like it's 300 feet away, and I felt like I was right next to it.
Fucking concrete huggers.
Oh, dude. They're coming for us, man.
They are, man.
I highly recommend like experiencing Manhattan because it is really cool. And I mean, from everybody that has lived there in like the past, it's just so much worse than it was, 20, 30 years ago. But that's almost every city is worse than it was 20 to 30 years ago.
That can add to a lot of people's stress as well, is going on subways. And to that point, I was just thinking, this is kind of maybe a slightly controversial one, but I think having alone time and social time are both things that can help relieve stress. But I think, like, I used to be somebody that would go out and try to find whoever to hang out with, strangers, meet them, or people who's up today, who's up tonight, whatever.
Strangers.
And people acquaintances.
He paid for those.
I have never. But what was I saying? Just too much social contact can be a bad thing. So there's some, again, proper amount.
It depends on the people you're being social with. I think that also plays a role. It's like too much social time with a monk. He doesn't say much. Right. That's probably okay.
I'd say, but that's to my point. I think
shut up.
There's not enough people that spend enough alone time with themselves. They're kind of always crowding their brain. Sometimes, whether it be meditation or just sitting with yourself in silence after your hike, or in bed when you first wake up, that kind of thing, without having all these racing thoughts and just
I think you're
breathing exercises.
I think you're describing the difference between escaping versus lowering your stress. So if I reach out to a social situation because I've been in isolation for too long, or let's say I've been social but it's been at work and I've just been talking about work stuff, there is a balance talking with some friends and just hanging out, doing what we're doing right now, in comparison to if I fill every fucking waking moment that I have with interactions with people, whether it's work or with friends or with strangers, but there is no silence, then that's an indulgence and an escape from your own thoughts.
Right. I'm an indulger. I am an escapist. I constantly listen to something. Oh, dude, I'm not kidding. Rooms. I mean, I wake up and like throw on a podcast, and then I listen to it while I'm in the shower. Like I wake
up, I light a cigarette, turn on my phone, and then.
I wish I lit a cigarette. Oh, dude, I want a cigarette so bad, but no, you don't. More of that. But no, it's. Trust me, like it's something that I try to do more of, is have a little bit of quiet time.
Sorry, we're in the future. We're in the future. You put on a nicotine patch, light up a smoke, and put on a VR headset.
Now you got it. Now you're living the dream.
It's happening.
But
you blast off in a spaceship.
I just my brain goes so hard in the paint in silence. Like I have. Especially now being like sober as much as I am these days.
Oh, that'll double time the speed. Yeah, if you're not blocking it out.
Fast, and it's just like I can't keep up with my own thoughts half the time. So I'm like, okay, I would rather listen to a podcast and then be processing that information than have to listen to my brain having 18 thoughts at once.
Mm-hmm. Having something to focus on can really help. whether it be meditation or a podcast or whatever the thing is, even just in the background. That's really important, especially if it's a healthy thing.
It helps my exercise a lot. I always play, well, not always, but there's a lot of times I'll play the Dragon Ball Z Goku training montage through all the series, and then I'll play like EDM music in the background to that. So I got the music going with, and they match up so often that it's hilarious. Oh, yeah. And it gets you pumped up. So I'm exercising, I'm looking over, getting some motivation, and then the music keeps you going in the meantime.
Yeah. Listen to Dragon Force Through the Fire and Flames.
While dude, Dragon Force with Goku intense. Training montage? That's gotta fucking help.
Oh, yeah.
I would do that too. Dragon Force is the shiznit. What else can help relieve stress? What do? We went over sleeping, went over quiet time, working out.
I get
tea, a nice cup of tea.
I do. I was going to say I get creative to lower stress, and I have an apothecary cabinet that is full of some of the finest teas, herbs, spices, you name it. And if I feel like I need to lower stress, I'll be like, I wonder what kind of potion I can make today, And so I can
nice elderberry sage
yes,
tea.
Exactly. And I do have some powdered elderberry that is some really fine stuff.
Those things do help, but sometimes it's almost like the ambiance, the placebo ambiance. I guess it's like
when I remember the ritual of it.
Yeah, if I put out all my little jars and I'm just adding a little bit of each thing, and then I have some warm water that I pour into it, and then
I get a lot of that same thing from like cooking. Like I kind of zen out when I'm cooking because it's like I'm doing a thing that I enjoy doing, but because cooking is so like artistic, where
and
you
methodical.
Don't really have to follow. Like, that's why I don't like baking nearly as much, because you're so rigidly structured in what you can add and how much you can add, how long to bake it for. Whereas like cooking,
you're like more garlic, more butter, more salt.
Throw some mustard seed in there.
Why not?
Get crazy. Get some toasted sesame oil. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
Let's have fun. I agree.
It's true. It's true.
I agree.
And I think more people should have fun cooking. I don't think enough people cook.
So many people view it just as a chore, and like, yes, it is a chore, but it's also, I then get to eat something delicious. And I think that's why a lot of people hate it, is because they haven't learned how to cook well. So they have to work and then cook and then eat a meal that just isn't satisfying. And it's like,
I don't know. I cook like I make a potion.
Good.
I cook like I make a potion sometimes. So I'm just like, dude, how much nutrients can I fit into that without losing any of the nutrients?
Done that. I call that man chowder.
Man chowder. Yeah, man chowder, pretty much.
Chowder.
If I could do that and then dehydrate it and make it a brick and take it with me camping, that is ultimately I would love to master.
Yeah, it's a Futurama thing. Bachelor chow.
Bachelor chow.
Pemmican chowder.
That's terrible. But no, it usually tastes really good, but it's usually the consistency of mush. It's like it's beans and rice and lentils and all the things.
It's just kind of a congealed mass of fat and carbohydrates.
It is.
That's another, to a larger point about
put a scoop of lard in there. It's fucking ready.
Maybe not. To that larger point, finding joy in cooking.
There you go.
Finding joy in cooking or finding joy in cooking or really anything in life. Like finding joys in the little things in life can also help you. I mean, you kind of have to work or be.
I mean, there's humility and gratefulness. Those are two things that can lower stress. It's hard to achieve those.
Right. Finding joy in those little things. Let's say cooking. Let's say those people that view it as a chore, it's just making that meal not taste as good, even though if it's the same exact recipe. They're just not finding the joy in that. And I think that gratefulness is what he was saying, is something that if we all have a little bit more of that, a little bit more of, hey, you know what? I really enjoy cooking this dish. I'm going to do this on Tuesdays or Thursdays or whatever. And not even just cooking, but whatever you do, your walk, your cooking, simple things, finding joy in the simple things, I think is really important and would help lower stress, as opposed to always thinking, oh, I have to do this. No, you get to do that,
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and I've heard that one before, is the I have to do that versus I get to do that. And a lot of things that bring us stress, I think we don't realize, are things that make life worth living. There is some times where you're like, that was really stressful. I hated that. But then if you look back on it from now, looking at the past, you're like, that was very challenging. and I got
And I
past it,
got
and
through
I
it. I got past it,
succeeded,
yeah.
and I became a better person than I would have ever been if I never had those challenges. So a lot of times
Yeah.
it's just the timing, and when it happens to you, you're like, this fucking sucks, and then you're like, wow, that made me the person I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that sucked so bad.
That's another thing. Taking on a larger philosophical point, I guess, looking at it in retrospective and learning the lessons, as opposed to being, and we've talked about this before, hard-headed and not being like, oh, that's everybody else's fault. No. That was a lesson that you could learn if you're gracious with yourself and gracious with those around you. You go, oh, I definitely. You might have been indignant in the moment, as I have been many times, but then after that, I go, oh, that was something that I was wrong. It's okay to say that you were wrong, or to just learn the lesson of whatever the thing is, right?
Yeah, and it's okay to suck at something too. Like that is those challenges. If you just do it and you're like, I suck at that, that's terrible, and then you stop, then that is why you're fucking terrible. Like you have to continue to be terrible for a long time.
Well, and I can also say from my own experience, like it also isn't always great to just be good at everything either. Like, because if you just do a thing and you automatically do it as well as somebody that's like done it for a while, it's like, oh, this is just boring now. I don't care. I'm already good at this. Why would I even try to?
You won't get better at it. Yeah, exactly.
And I've had to kind of face that in myself, because there have been things
you're good at everything you go to do.
It's not that I'm good at everything, but like I am a talented person, and my brain picks up, especially on physical tasks, really, really quickly. And so like I'll run into these situations in my life where it's like, oh, I can just do this. Like I don't have to try as hard as everyone else around me to do this thing. But that doesn't mean I should just write it off and not care about it. I should try to be the best at it now. Like as an adult, you know, in my 30s, I'm like, oh no, I should use my ability to adapt so quickly and become really good at these things rather than just writing it off and not caring.
Right.
Like so many times in my life, I've just gone like, okay, sweet, I don't need to try, whatever, keep moving, I don't care.
Right. And find like, your skill and excel in it.
I haven't improved myself.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, and it's again, I don't want to be braggadocious, but like again, so many times in the physical world, I am talented. Like I can usually do a thing really well if it's involved like physically, as long as it's not physically taxing as far as endurance. That's where I definitely struggle.
It depends on how long I have to do it.
If I can do it in a burst, pretty good. Like,
yeah, I love sprinting.
Like, disc golf is like a thing that I found.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were starting that up. Yeah, before you left.
I found disc golf like 4 years ago, and pretty quickly I could throw like 200, 250, then 300 feet. And like 300 feet is something that it takes most people like 5-6 years to achieve. And like I could do it within like 6 months. But like going, oh cool, I can throw big, that's awesome. But it's not like that sport is so much more than throwing far. There's so many aspects of throwing accurately, putting the disc where you want to put it. It is just golf with a Frisbee. And it's that's kind of one of the things that helped me learn this lesson of like, no, apply yourself, learn, get better, really and this is a good one.
There's so many hobbies out there, and there's always going to be a group of people who are like, oh, that's not my thing, or oh, this is not my thing. But realistically, any hobby that gets you outdoors and doing something slightly athletic, I'm all game. I won't for sure. I won't fault anybody. And then even on the opposite spectrum, if somebody's drawing or doing something on that level, there's a mental acuity and there is some respect for dedication and those sort of things. Whether it's your thing or not, don't put anybody down for the things that they want to do with their time.
Creativity and
more time to draw.
Yeah, creativity and imagination are big things, big outlets, I guess, for stress or for people that, let's say, they can't go on a walk. Let's say they have their legs or whatever, they are accident of some kind. Those people, I mean, that's one of the things, both mentally and I guess to some degree physically, you're getting things out on paper. You're also creating, and so that's a productive, healthy way of.
And we're coming in a new era. Like once people start getting the chip, then it's going to be, people are going to be able to do artistic things, even though their body's not capable of doing a lot.
It's going to
be a new age.
in the last 10, maybe 15 years, maybe this is old knowledge, maybe this is changing, but I have seen that there's a lot of people that are using the term try hard in a negative way. I'm not sure if I've talked about this before, but there's a lot of people for a while
you're being a try hard.
Exactly. You're trying too hard or whatever. And it's like, I mean, you should care about certain things, right? You find your passion. And what I found is a lot of people are not having as many passions. There's like an epidemic of apathy. And that's not a good thing, right? So everyone should have something to care
Here's the combo. I think that we, collectively, I think that we could have lots of hobbies we don't have right now. Like there's many things that would interest us that if there was somebody in the know who knew how to do it, we would probably pick it up and see if we could learn it. Regardless of what the skill or the intelligence is, I'm excited about life. I would be interested if somebody just that I met today was like, I'm a master at pottery and I have a whole pottery shop in my backyard. Would you like to learn how to make some pottery? I'd be like, fuck yes, let's make some pottery.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So this is kind of what I'm saying is that if you think the whole world's going to shit, you lose your willingness to get excited about doing something. Especially doing something that doesn't have to do with making the world not shit. And perhaps you can't do anything about it, and so all you're going to do is sit there and dwell on the fact that everything is shit.
Right. Yeah. At least you could pick up some clay and improve your life.
Right. And maybe improve the life of someone else. If you make something and it strikes a chord with somebody who goes to buy it. This is the best
plate I've ever seen. Yes. I'm now going to go save the children of Somalia.
That's a bit drastic, but yes, fine, whatever. We'll go with that one. I appreciate the incentive behind it. You really.
What? So I actually, it only kind of brings me there.
That's a beautiful plate. I'm going to go donate $1 billion to this cause.
I want to start a group, like kind of a, not a charity necessarily, but like like AA, but for agoraphobics outside. That's gonna be. I think that's gonna take off.
Agoraphobia is like large groups of people they don't like.
Yeah.
And so you're gathering large groups of people that
all of them together. Well, what got me there was Dyslexics Untie, and I was like, oh, but agoraphobics outside. Just a quick vision into the way my brain works.
What's the phobia of water?
Aquaphobia?
Hydrophobia?
Hydrophobia, that sounds right.
No, that hydrophobic is a term for like material.
That's a scientific term.
It's got to be one of those, right?
Hydrophobic means that it cannot have the water touch it, I believe.
Well, again, that kind of should apply to...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, aquaphobia, an intense irrational fear of water.
All right, so aquaphobia surfing lessons is my alley, man. That's what I'm doing.
No, we could do it in the desert on the dunes.
And we could go sand surfing. That is fucking gold. That is gold.
I mean, that's how was it immersion therapy or like flooding or whatever it is? It's just
you got to open people up to the idea, and then the sand surfing is similar enough to where if once they got comfortable with it, you could take them to the ocean.
When if you went to those dunes in Oregon that are like 100 yards from the beach, they just ride the sand down into the water.
That'd be cool. I wonder if they have dune buggies that do like on the Oregon coast type thing, and then go into the water, and you can like be on the water as well, because they have those cars that can drive on land that also go in the water, right?
Yeah, but those aren't really meant for off-road. There's one company that built an ATV, like a quad, that was also a jet ski.
Ooh.
And it was pretty cool because it worked like as a quad. You could ride it on trails and stuff, and then you could just go in the water, press a button, the tires came up, and it took off on the water.
That's wild.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that now that you mention it.
Yeah.
All the cool stuff is wildly expensive, for sure.
Yeah.
So
hopefully they'll,
lowering stress, it doesn't always cost money, but you could buy one of those ATVs that turns into a jet ski.
Great stress reliever, sir.
I can't remember the company. Those four-legged robot things. I don't know if they're actually doing that, but someone or some social media thing said that they're actually putting that into production. I can't remember if it was like Toyota or Hyundai or one of those companies. But have you seen that? Like the robot dog thing that you ride?
Yeah,
I saw that, but I think
Dynamics had it like 15 years ago.
I think it was
really?
I think the one that you saw, the one I saw recently looked like it was
I keep seeing it.
I don't think.
Yeah,
I think it's a prototype.
Like a concept. like a concept thing. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The future's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of stress.
Yeah, we're going to have some robot mounts. People are going to be chipped. People are going to be.
We'll have robot chickens.
Robot chickens. We are going to have those, and then we're probably also going to have hacking, like people who got the chip getting hacked and doing terrible things.
There's already hacking. I mean, what is it? Not EMF, but if they already have scans that can.
We talked about taking drugs and supplements for lowering stress level and changing your viewpoint on things, and then there's the chip. If you're able to get the chip, you just press a button, you can just lower your stress. You don't even have to go do anything.
Press that dopamine button over and over again.
That reminds me of that test. Do you know what test that is? There was a lady.
I know about that test. I don't remember what it was called.
I think it was a lady who got. Correct me if I'm wrong. There is an experiment they did where they had a button that could release dopamine in this woman's head, and she just kept pressing the button. Once she figured out that she could just continue to press it, then they went to take it away from her, and she absolutely lost her shit and couldn't do anything else. So
break the brain.
There's that fear of people getting the chip and being able to control these sort of things is just becoming mindless blobs.
What's like the idea of Soma, right? I think isn't that Brave New World or one of those books? And I think they've touched on it in a lot of books. But the idea of taking a drug to make yourself feel good, but it's also like chip-like. It also like regulates you. It's almost like an SSRI, but different. Not quite. It's something that mellows you out, but also makes you feel good. So as long as you keep taking it, you're gonna be on that even keel.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was. But
I don't remember the movie. I think it was called Zenith, where it was a dystopian future where people didn't feel pain anymore. Like there was a drug that made it so nobody could feel any pain, and so as a drug, people would go take a substance to feel depression and to feel pain. And that was like the underground street drug was making you
Let's go get
bad.
sad.
Let's go get sad, motherfucker.
Well, I guess
get sad, man. Nobody's ever felt it. It becomes a novelty. It was a weird movie. I think that was the name of it. If anybody knows,
a lot of people like that feeling though. Like that's why like those like dramatic movies and romance movies do fairly well. Is like people like that heartwarming / sad moment, usually then resolved so that you get to feel happy.
Sometimes
at the end,
not. Sometimes everybody dies in the end, and it's.
I mean, in good movies,
comfort. That's realistic movies. I don't know if it's good, but I do like some people doing those every now and then. Rogue One was a good one where it's like. It's unfortunate.
You mean the only good Star Wars movie in the last 30 years?
Dude, I still fall asleep too much to that movie. It's really good, but I do fall asleep to that one a lot.
This is the way.
That's because you know through the storyline that nobody makes it out of there alive. But when you're watching the movie...
Spoiler alert!
Oh, sorry. If you haven't seen the movie, sorry.
Isn't that like 10 years ago? Yeah.
You had 10 years. All right, but anyway, you get my point. I do like some flexing of back and forth. I think that's good for movie writing. But
spoiler alert: Neo was the one.
He was. Oh no! Go watch The Matrix if you haven't, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's the crazy thing. Long enough for that.
I think we've talked about this before. There's a lot of these kids, let's say 21, 25, whatever, that have never seen Star Wars, have never seen The Matrix, and like, it's better to watch those now or as soon as they can as they grow up.
My employee has not seen The Matrix, and I keep being like, "What? You gotta see that movie."
No, I've heard they're actually showing Idiocracy as a documentary these days.
They show it. It is a documentary. They just went back in time to make it. That's a good thing.
That movie is the reason that Crocs are like such a big thing.
Yes. Yeah. So
what's such a big thing?
The
director was like, we need a shoe that's so stupid it'll never
the dumbest
catch
shoe
on.
Possible.
So they chose Crocs, and then Crocs became super famous and popular after that movie came out. That was the shoes that the inmates had in that movie.
It wasn't just the inmates, but it was the inmates. It was like everybody in that movie.
And it was a bunch of okay.
Yeah.
He was like,
Brando.
"Those are perfect. Those are so ugly that they'll never catch on and make
Nobody
this
will
movie
ever want to
wrong."
wear those. Yeah. And
The
now,
plants
dude, now
great.
they have like sport. They have so many different Crocs.
But I was actually getting
Never
to
worn
the
'em.
point of
Me neither.
people tend to go for what's comforting to them, and the comforting is whatever's comfortable. It could be sadness in your life because you're comfortable with it. You seek it out and you make it happen again, and you like watching those movies. So I think those movies sell well because people are in that habitual loop of creating that feeling, and that feeling makes them comfortable. And it's
Well,
hard to
and
get
those
out of
same
it.
people will be like, "Oh, I need to get away from the people in my life. They cause so much drama," and yet they're the ones causing 90% of the drama in their lives.
And as soon as they're around a different
The
group
people
of
that
people,
complain the most about like drama or people talking behind their back talk the most behind people's back and create the most drama. And it's like, no, you seek that. And that's fine that you seek that, but don't lie to yourself and say that you want to avoid it. Be like,
well,
no,
that's
I
just
like
it.
this.
That's just it.
But people do,
You can't be in that trap without being convinced that it's
Yeah,
everything
you have
else.
to be lying to
You
yourself in order
literally
to
have
ever
to.
feel that way. Yeah.
Because as
Honestly,
soon
I was
as you're
probably
honest, it's over. You've broken the fourth wall. You're looking right at it.
I was probably
Who's
guilty
the
of that kind of
problem?
behavior. I was guilty of that kind of behavior, especially
Oh,
my
we've all
teens
been.
and
We've
maybe
all
even
been
early
guilty.
20s.
We've all been
But
guilty of that. I've been 5 before.
as I've gotten older, it's like it's so much, especially after 30 or 28 or whatever, it's a lot easier to recognize those kind of people because they'll be upfront about it really soon, whether it be in a potential partner, romantic, whatever, or even just a friend. You'll see that behavior within the first few days, maybe even the first day of knowing them. They'll start doing that. They'll start treating the waiter badly, or they'll start talking about one of their friends or something, and they're like, whoa, okay, if it's maybe that's a one-off, and then it happens again and again and again, and all these guys that I've dated are toxic. They're all narcissists. It's like, okay, there's less than 1 or 2% of people are narcissists. And you're saying it's like 50% of women, I think it is, that have said that they have been with a narcissist.
Well,
like,
yeah, Isaac, that's what happens when you date guys.
Yeah,
that's stop dating guys.
I've dated both of you guys, and you're both narcissists.
What I was going to say is that I love communication, but I have noticed that if somebody info dumps a waterfall onto you, you need to watch out. You need to be at least somewhat antennas up to if they're willing to just drop a shit ton of information in one go. That
Well, it depends on the information too, I'd say. Because sometimes
they might be protecting themselves or building a background storyline so that you view them a certain way. If I build a big enough, thick enough story that when you go to analyze me, you're analyzing this whole chunk of information I just gave you, rather than just viewing me for, hey, I just met you. Well, hello, this is me.
Exactly. Exactly. You have this whole backstory on someone
I'm trying to paint you a picture.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, no mistakes.
This is
just
the picture.
I mean, so legitimately, I do that, but that's just because I like to talk way too much. And it's not that I'm trying to hide anything. It's more that I want to throw out all 18 different sides of me to see if either you glom onto one of them or if you can even just handle the intensity that
I handle all of this? Yeah, just like, oh no, it's too much. No, but I get the
and most people go like, whoa, too much. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll calm down. Won't see that side of me again.
That's why I said have your antennas up. Not that person's definitely hiding something. It is more so the type of information, which Isaac, you pointed out as well. It is depending on that flood of information. This could either be a very powerful energy, or it can be someone who's creating a little facade shield.
And it's also look at situational as well, right? Situational, because sometimes people are just, let's say your customers at work, they're probably just comfortable with you. You have that aura of making them comfortable. So then they'll dump all this stuff because they don't have anybody else to dump it to. Not that it's trauma dumping, but all this information,
and that's
you can
the
kind
dump.
of assess.
That's the dump I'm okay with. If the person you're talking to is asking for it, it's different than if you're just like,
hey, look at all
you. And he's just like,
let me tell you all about this person and that person and all these bad people in my past.
You didn't even ask me my name. You just told me your life story. I have no idea where you're coming from.
Well,
you had me at trauma
one thing
dumping.
I will never do. I will never talk about other people to somebody. Like if there's somebody, like I would talk to Doug about you, Isaac, and vice versa. But that's because we hang out, like we have a relationship where we're dealing with each other. But like I would never go and like talk to Joe about you guys when he has nothing to do with what's going on. Like, you know, Again, unless we were like, oh, well, let's have a surprise party for Doug. That's fine. But like, I'm also never gonna meet somebody and be like, oh, my friend the other day, he told me that he started hooking up with this new girl. Like, people that do that kind of stuff, I can't fathom the thought process that gets
I
you
do.
to like,
It's drama
I've got
building.
some juicy gossip.
It's escapism and it's drama building. So you're building a little pocket of drama, handing it off to somebody so they can create some drama, and then you can talk about it so that you don't have to deal with your own drama.
Exactly. A lot of those people just want to feel better about themselves. They're insecure with some part of them inside, and they're
which is fine.
So
hurt people. I mean, it's straight back into the same thing. And one of the things you can do for eliminating stress is escape it. You can drink, you can smoke, you can talk shit about people. They're not things I recommend, but that is one of the things that I think we're discussing here. Is that even though it's not
easiest ways.
Yes, it's not my strategy. I would like to find healthy ways to deal with things, but that is a lot of the world is hurt people, and so when they are dealing with these dramas, it is easy to just trauma dump onto somebody else or pick up a bottle or go on.
That's the thing is unresolved trauma, repression in general, especially of emotions or insecurities. A lot of these things go together. If you find healthy outlets for these things and to even recognize, to be aware of these things, and then to be, okay, I'm going to go on a walk, I'm going to go work out, I'm going to draw, instead of I'm going to drink, I'm going to smoke and talk shit about people all the time or whatever it may be.
And I much better to do that. I'm trying to take myself less serious. I want to be a funny, lighthearted, caring person, and I carry so much weight of like I want to do something important with my life, and regardless of all the hobbies, I want to learn how to be the best at the things that I do, and I carry so much pressure on those things that it's not healthy for me. It's definitely not. I do need to relax.
I want to be the best. I also don't care. Like I've always had a pretty good balance of that. Like, do what I can when I can, where I can. But like, if I fail at a thing, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'll either try again and do it better next time, or I'll go, okay, we failed. That doesn't matter, or that's not for me.
And I think that the pressure comes from I want to be a guiding light. I would like to make people's lives better. I would like to figure out if I can't do something well, then there's no way I can help anybody else out with anything else.
That's not true, though. Again, the best way to make other people's lives, people in your life, better is to just be yourself and be as good as you can be in what you do. Like, you don't even have to be the best. You just have to be good. Like, you just have to live your life in a positive way, and that affects the people around you. Like,
that's not what America's about. We got to be the best all the time, August.
No, we are. USA, USA,
USA. No, but seriously, I'm a little hard on myself, which I think is fine for a refining process. You can overdo it.
Yeah, but you don't want to live there.
Yes, you can be too hard on yourself, and with the lowering amounts of stress, I definitely have things like going to the Renaissance Fair. It's only a once or twice a year thing, but that is like that makes my year lower in stress throughout the whole year. Like
it's unfortunate that the people that should be harder on themselves are the ones that probably need it the most. That should, you know what I mean? Like, and the ones that are hard on themselves will probably need to go a little easier most often, I find at least. And so it's just like a lot of us have guilty consciences or think too much about things and just need to take some deep breaths and step back for a little bit and do what you enjoy without being too unhealthy.
I'm okay a little bit with the being hard on myself to get better at things and to find good hobbies that can help other people, because I look at the adverse to that. The adverse to that is that I don't care as much and that I don't have to be as good at anything. I could just do whatever the hell
I could use to care more, and you could use to care a little less.
Right. There's a balance there, and I'm okay with that to an extent. But there is in everybody's life figuring out what that balance is. Yeah. And I don't think it's work-life balance as much. I think it's more along the lines of if you can find things that relieve stress in your work. Like, I do enjoy the problem solving, even though it's super stressful. I do enjoy solving the problem. Of course, it sucks when you don't, but I do enjoy the solving computer problems that are difficult and that aren't easy to come by. And I do enjoy the customer interactions. Is the small
and especially
town.
like with your kind of job, you're like, especially when you do solve a complicated problem, the cool thing about it is once you've figured out how to solve that problem, the next time you encounter it, you'll
I
solve it
solve
twice
so
as
many other
fast.
I'm able to help so many other people, and there is a rewarding feeling behind. I solve it for one
Yeah.
person, and it just opens up a spot in my mind where I'm like,
Yep.
I cannot wait to solve this problem that much faster when the next person brings that in.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, the same thing happens when you learn how to build stuff. Like the first time you're building something, it's like kind of difficult. You're learning all these weird little tricks and
Frustrating,
ways to
yeah.
do stuff, and then you mess up and you have to tear it down and put it back together. And like, but then the next time you're like, okay, make sure I don't do that. Make sure I do these 3 things that I missed last time, and like then it happens faster. And like, there's always something else to learn, always something else to get better at and faster at, and like,
Yeah, and I got a buddy of mine who just got into doing computer repair, and he started his own business over in Bellingham. And when he calls me and talks to me, I spill trade secrets because I fucking know everything that
you
I
broke
tell.
the magician's code.
No, I'm telling you, I do, because I love this person, right?
Yeah.
And I care about him. And I also know that any information I'm sharing with him is saving somebody else. The damage that has already been learned, I've already passed it.
Yeah.
It'd be like, no, you're not technically making money for my company, but you're a close friend of mine and you're trying to help people. So I spilled the beans on some things. And then one of the things I told him is that whenever you're going to do something with data, always clone the hard drive first.
Yeah.
It's always the first thing.
Because if you fry it, then
you might, and also depending on how that hard drive is running, you might only read it once and then it might die. And the only thing that you did was clone it and then it dies. It's better that you did that than try to read it with anything else or try to data recovery or try to do all these things. Because once you have a clone and it's dead, you can clone it again and then you can work on the clone. It's just getting it off of there the first time. And I remembered when I told him that, he was like, that was one of the first things that I learned from you, like years ago. And he's like, and I always do that first. And I was proud to hear
it's the nice
that.
thing about so much stuff is just solid state now, that is far less of an issue.
It's less of an issue because when SSDs go bad, they go bad.
Yeah. But that's why most people, you just run everything in series and have it constantly backed up anyways.
Yeah, and if you're going to have a RAID, don't have a RAID 0, all right?
No, that's probably not the best idea.
Have a striped RAID. And just to fill you in, August, essentially the zero RAID is if you lose one of the drives, you lose all the data. Whereas
he's filling in Isaac, but
yeah.
Why? It's the funniest that you mix our names up. I mean, I guess they are both.
Wait, did I say August and point over at Isaac? For crying out loud!
You just called
it and just to fill it, you know.
Yeah, finding meaning and purpose for some reason again kind of goes with that apathy thing, back to the stress and just the overall urgent stuff.
It does lower stress to have purpose. That is important.
Right, exactly. But I've never had a problem finding meaning and purpose, and for some reason I don't think it's just an older person thing, but there's a lot of people that are having that, I guess. And I think moving into the future with AI, with modern technology, or even future technologies, I think that people should find their meaning and purpose within themselves, within their daily life, within the little things, because a lot of these jobs are just not going to exist anymore, little bit by little bit.
But then people will be able to find meaning in their AI sex bot girlfriend, and she'll do whatever he asks her.
All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
I mean, that's true.
Are you getting the chip?
That chip's not out yet. The chip's not out yet.
Would you get it? Would you get it?
It depends on what the type of chip.
No. I would not get the chip.
I would have to argue that no, it doesn't. If you're gonna get a chip, you would get the chip.
The chip.
Which
yeah,
one?
No.
Is
and
it a
as
Google
technology
chip?
gets
Is it a
better,
ChatGPT chip?
here's all the chips that are being made, and at some point they will be the chip. And if you have any of the previous chips, you will eventually have
you will
the
get
chip.
you will get updated with the chip.
Yeah,
well,
the firmware.
Okay. I probably would not get the chip. However, I would like my memories and all this stuff backed up on, let's say, a file that I could just plug in and watch, or maybe more so feel. Do you know what I mean? Like go to a thing, put on a Cerebro, and then go back and
version of you would then actually be a sociopath.
Oh, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Sixth Day. I'll come and be like, boom, boom, boom.
Well, Altered Carbon, where they have the little consciousness discs. Essentially,
that's
the only reason I'd be interested in the little copy of your memories thing is because in neuroscience, every time you relive a memory, every time you bring a memory back, you are slightly rewriting it. So it would be interesting to have a backup of your memories so that you could, so that, and it's not even the original, because if you made the backup now, there would be stuff that has been rewritten since you watched it.
Well, unless you could wear meta glasses and record every instance and then have the actual true memory.
Isn't this a movie?
Yeah, but it can't read your thoughts, so there's still, some variance.
I don't know. They might be able to pretty soon. Right? They might be able to pretty darn soon. Even if it's just the electrical impulses, maybe
Project
they can tell
Looking Glass, hashtag Project Looking Glass.
Oh, man. They can probably tell what kind area of your brain you're using. The electrical impulses, like, oh, he's using the language and this.
Yeah, I mean, I got sensors about this, right on my palms. Or right on my...
We have our phones, we have these, we got all sorts of stuff. So maybe,
but with reducing stress, I mean, you can't write off. Because, yes, drugs aren't the answer necessarily, but, something like psychedelics, it can work wonders for stress relief.
Right, and for PTSD and for addiction, breaking addiction. Yeah. There's been a lot of studies out there on psychedelics. There was also
I would love for it to cure me of smoking, but every time I'm on psychedelics, I just want to smoke more.
There was that one psychedelics that made you see, or made people see tiny people. And it was in some area in China, and they thought it was a cultural thing, is like people were just seeing small people and calling them gnomes or whatever, or fairies. And they thought it was cultural. And then they found in Papua New Guinea that same mushroom existed. And there were stories of people who took it who saw tiny people that looked like gnomes and fairies. So it broke the cultural appropriation of it, because these areas were just far enough apart to where...
Well, that's
that would suggest that there is a psychedelic molecule that makes you see tiny people.
Or even, it could be a collective consciousness. And I think Pierre Teilhard de Chardin and many other philosophers and older people worked with the fact that there could be a new sphere, is what he said, or a collective consciousness that brings those things, not just the physical molecule of that mushroom and how it interacts with your brain, but a collective, because we don't know nearly enough about consciousness as what we should, and it interests me greatly. But what if there is a collective consciousness? That's why those weird coincidences happen, or I was thinking about calling August and all of a sudden he called me right then. It's those kinds of things happen so much.
And also, quantum entanglement is something that I've been fascinated with for a really long period of time. Let's say that quantum entanglement can be fractaled or fractalized, which is the concept of, let's say, our beings and our consciousness from way back in the day, breeding and breeding again every time a mother and a child split with the father's DNA. There is 3 points of that connection, that quantum entanglement. Every time 3 splits off and another child is made, there is no difference in the quantum entanglement. We're all still connected in that same network. And so the things like our consciousness and making things up, or seeing things under the influence of psychedelics, or having those intuitions of, hey, I should call this person, and then they call immediately, it could be us touching this web and not recognizing it.
Totally.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same way, people, DMT, people see the blue lady, the purple lady, it's, people see all kinds of, and I mean, the crazy one to me is, about Benadryl? If you take way too much Benadryl, they talk about the Hat Man.
The Hat
and like
Man.
it's
I've
dude,
heard
it's
of it
this
before.
shared thing that like if you take a psychedelic level of Benadryl, like you have this horrible. Everyone describes it as like horrible trip. But there's this guy there called the Hat Man. Like everybody just describes him as the Hat Man. He has like a fedora. Like it's been described slightly different, but everybody describes basically the same thing.
Oh, weird.
And like I've never done it. That I'm not interested in getting high on Benadryl. But like it's crazy that all these people have had this experience, and then the same description comes back. And like you look at art in cultures that have done like ayahuasca and stuff, and like that lady is there, and it's not like they were getting influenced by the internet and people talking about it. It's like this thing has been there.
And I think that comes to a good point, is I think we all have more control and power over this reality than we think we do. And I think about this with, if there is a group or a people in power that are doing terrible things to children and things like that, there is a middleman. There is some person that you know, or somebody that is in the normal realm of our reality, that is helping these things happen. And so it's not healthy for us to view it just as hating on evil people at the top. Is that there is middlemen, there is real people. Everybody makes a choice. Everybody's doing things in their own life, whether it's to lower their stress or escape from something. We all need to have some responsibility in this game that we play.
Yeah, and I mean, inaction is essentially at that point the same as helping. Like not doing or saying anything about it is essentially the same. And like it's what kind of annoys me about the moment we're in history is that like we're willing to protest over somebody getting shot, which fine, awesome. If that's what you want to do, that's how you want to spend your time, more power to you. Protest that. It's wrong to shoot people over shooting somebody over protesting is wrong. Like for sure. But we're not willing to protest the government hiding things from us, blatantly redacting files, blatantly not investigating things. Like
I mean, even just
the Butler, Pennsylvania shooting, somehow somebody tried to kill a man who was running for president, in turn became president. Somehow that is just gone. Nobody ever talks about it. How in the world is that not something to protest over? How in the world are we just fine that the FBI is blatantly lying to our faces about the Charlie Kirk shooting? Like, I don't understand how people can get so up in arms about one little thing, and then something that's really, at the end of the day, way more important, gets
blanket over
ignored.
top of it and not talk about it whatsoever. And there is a lot of things that aren't talked about enough.
I think it's unfortunate during COVID, it really showed, particularly COVID, not just the modern history, recent modern history, but particularly COVID showed that there's a lot of people, regardless of whatever your convictions are, regardless of whatever your views of that was, that won't stand up for their own independent freedoms, and it would go, okay, government's got it, or okay, these people got it, make all the decisions for us, print the money, give us some checks so we can make it through, don't come outside, don't do this. Everyone was scared, and that makes sense. But I mean,
and then those same people will stand up and run outside and take over part of Seattle because somebody got killed. And it's like, wait, so it's not okay to go outside and have dinner with my family, but it's totally fine to go outside and surround yourself with thousands of people because somebody got shot.
What? People don't apply the same. What's the name of that? They play the same metrics to their own. It's the things that they're emotional about.
It's the definition of hypocrisy.
Yes, absolutely. And we're all hypocrites at some point, and people need to realize that. I was saying that in the last episode. I think is that if you don't realize that at some point in time, even if it's
I do.
If you're not, everyone's ignorant to some degree about some things. We're all foul. We're all humans. But if you don't recognize that, being able to say that I'm wrong or I fucked up or I am a hypocrite sometimes, that's really important to do. And if we're not doing that collectively, I mean, accountability is also a big thing. And unfortunately,
I'm working on it myself, and I think everybody should be working on is the consistency. So if you do recognize those times of having those hypocritic thoughts, if you notice those enough, then you can whittle them down and get better at consistent character. And consistent character is who you want to be. It really is. It's something you can respect and something you can stand up for. Is because that's the person that I look up to throughout all of my life, is people who have held that consistent level of behavior and character. Is I stand up for good things, I stand up for people who are voiceless, and I don't back down.
And that's why those kind of works stand the test of time, whether it be Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. I mean, that's still a very popular book, or even the Bible itself, and a lot of it is the most popular book. The things that stand the test of time,
or Aragorn most from Lord of the Rings.
Then that as well. I mean, the things that have stood the test of the time most often, way most often, like have wisdom in them that people need to hear, right? That we all could do better about studying, I guess. Because that's why they're around still, right? It's not like a story that just went away. It's some real stuff.
But it's funny, at the beginning of this we talked about lowering stress, and then we like popped the pimple. It's like once we got long enough of talking about lowering stress, then we were like, what the fuck is with this shit?
That's the way life is, though. I mean,
why is there so many fucking pedophile rings out here, man? This is shit. This is fucking.
That's the thing.
It's a PDF file.
That's the thing, though, is people need to be held accountable for the things that, whether it be Epstein or whatever, networks are out there. How can there not be accountability? And the only answer seemingly is that all these famous rich people, whatever government politicians, are involved, and it's like.
But I don't think it's famous rich people because of what I was saying. There is middlemen. These people have to work with people, so there are people you don't suspect that are involved. And everyone has a decision. Everybody has to find out what level they are seeing the trafficking and do something about it. That's why it doesn't work in small towns. That's why it doesn't happen in areas where everybody knows each other. Because no one would actually put up with that shit. It is the anonymity or the bigger cities and the larger groups of people that make it happen. And it can happen in small towns, but it happens in very small, tight pockets that aren't able to be discovered because they don't talk to anybody in the small community.
Yeah, when it scales up, it doesn't scale up at the same rate. It scales up to a much larger rate because of that anonymity, because of that ability to be like, oh, I'm going to pass the buck to the next person. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to take action about this thing that I know is wrong because I bet someone else will do it. I can absolve myself of that. It doesn't scale up at the same rate in a small town because you go, oh, I need to protect my friends and family and whatnot. On a big scale, it's I don't know that person, better him than me, right? So, I agree.
I'd like to take it seriously and like it to be passed on that you shouldn't be viewing it as the evil top. Like there is no evil top. There is somebody's working with somebody that's working with somebody that's working with somebody who's possibly just like you, just living their life, not even thinking that they're involved that much, that all it takes is a couple decisions.
And that's the scary thing, though, is about the people that you're talking about, the common layperson, the common citizen or whatever. I think a lot of times those people who are in need of money, who are in need of shelter, who are in need of payment of some kind, or need of something.
Desperation makes the worst of people.
Those people, even if they didn't really want to help the Epstein or the whoever's of the world, they would do it for an undisclosed amount of cash or something equal because they need it, right? It's not something that they even really want to do, but they do because it's not about their character.
And then they learn to love it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're part of that whole thing. So I agree that it's not just the top. It's important to just not be, let's kill that person.
Well,
or let's,
I think
to be accountable.
It's just the top mentality is creating this extra division that doesn't need to be there. It's creating this separation of like, oh, that's so far out of my realm of things I can do anything about it, so I can't do anything about it.
I mean,
no,
even to this day,
somebody somewhere who's helping these people, and it's not everybody at the top. I swear, it's not just billionaires that are able to do these sort of things.
It's not just the rich. Yeah. Not just the famous. It's also not just all conservatives or just all liberals or anything in between. That's really important because the division between, you're a conservative, I'm not going to talk to you kind of thing is like, or even thinking,
you're more complicated than that. In order to hide itself, it has to be a little bit of everything. That's the only way that it can hide, is that if it's everywhere, then there is no one group of people you can point out and remove.
Right. But that's the whole proxy war thing that's been happening. People like to say, "Oh, that's the enemy over there. Let's go get him." But it's not. That's not how life is. Usually, most often.
Well, right. Yeah, go for it.
Well, it's been the whole thing, like, throughout literally the history of movies. You can look at movies alone and be like, oh, there have been signals about this stuff throughout history. Like, every movie, not every single movie, obviously, but like, you can look at all of film history and be like, oh, there's a wink and a nod to like some occult thing in this movie. Oh, there's a wink and a nod to some like weird bank thing that happened in this movie. Oh, there's a wink and a nod to some war thing that happened in this movie. And it's literally all throughout it because there are middlemen, because there are people that are involved and know, and they can't all just say it, but they can hint at it. And then you can go on your conspiracy mind trip and be like, oh, but Disney's telling me that there's sex in the sky. And it's like, okay, that's a little silly, but like, there's real parts to that. And like, again, part of the whole thing with like the demonic ritual and the way a lot of that stuff works is, in order for it to work, they have to tell you they're doing it. And then you just go, they're not doing that.
Well, I've heard that, but I actually think the theory is much deeper than that. I think it's more along a psyop level.
It's all part of it.
If somebody is spreading terrible information, release of the Epstein files, like the release of this stuff, and just giving it out to the people, I don't think that's actually helping. I think that's making people more nullified to terrible things. So I actually am one that thinks that the Epstein files should have just been released to the people who were going after the people that were the problem. I don't actually.
Yeah, but the people going after the people who are the problem are part of the problem.
Right.
Right.
But they're all literally.
But then those are not the people going after the problem. You hear what I'm saying?
Actual.
Yes, I think you are correct.
I think the Epstein files needed to be released to the people that are actually trying to go after the people responsible, and that would be lawyers.
That's what we're trying to do on the internet.
Those would be unbiased lawyers that are going after it. You know, if they don't off them all.
There are no unbiased lawyers. They're all paid for.
Healthy ways to relieve stress to the consenting person.
I think having a family, a significant other, and a close friend group, and having a job where you're actually helping people out, I think would be the top tier of lowering stress. If you actually had a job where you felt like you were making a difference in people's lives, not knocking any job.
Talk about white people problems.
Is having a job?
No, it's, my job isn't helping enough people.
What? Yeah, that's what.
Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, it can help a small amount of people, but you have to feel that purpose of it helping somebody. I mean,
I respect and love what you're saying, but it is very much first world, like, white people problem.
Yeah, like, totally. Well, I mean, this whole podcast, most of the time, we're just talking about all sorts of different stuff, but it can relate to most people.
Saying shit that nobody needs to hear, but everybody wants to.
Like some people
like and subscribe. All right.
Yeah. Subscribe in the comments.
No, but really, I think on the lowering stress, finding purpose, if it doesn't help people, I have to say that there is some societal, I think cultural, throughout all of history. I don't think it's a white person thing. That if you're doing something that has benefit to the community, and you have a close group of friends that you're able to get along with and have conversations with about daily life and grow with, and a community beyond that, that you feel the representation of yourself. Not everybody's out there talking shit about you. Maybe one person or a couple of people or different things.
Must be nice to live in your ivory tower on top of your mountain of computer parts.
I was talking about a tribe. If I lived in a tribe, I would still want to do something that would help out the tribe and the basic community.
Yeah, but what are the fracking miners out in the Dakotas do? Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, what the frack? I don't know. That's why I don't drive very often.
For sure. No, I genuinely agree with you, but it is one of those things where, like, not everybody is gonna do something, like, because, like, you could argue working at McDonald's does help some people.
I don't
agree.
Even
helping them, you're actually hurting them because you're feeding them poison. Like,
I don't agree. I think McDonald's should be completely abolished, and that something else should be put in its place.
I don't
Abolish
disagree.
McDonald's.
But we live in
Shout out to
America, and you can't play the
McDonald's.
game
Like
that
and
way.
subscribe.
We're not going to
down
get them as a
McDonald's.
sponsor now. Damn
No,
it.
no, we
Wins
just
money
lost our
only.
Yeah,
We could be
next
an
episode
Olympian.
I got a McDonald's burger and I'm like, it's the best.
Have you tried the new Big Mac sauce?
I got
No,
an
no,
antenna
what's the-
sticking out of my head.
What's the name of the new burger? What's the name of the new burger? The Mc not what that there is a new one. I
The
haven't had it yet.
McChitter?
I don't
No,
know.
I don't
know
listen,
McDonald's.
I don't have any problem with big business if they're paying their employees enough. But there is the quality of food I don't feel like
Socially,
is there.
right.
And so
Socially responsible.
I'm telling people to
Yeah.
eat healthy. I would not be pointing them to the McDonald's unless it was
go
in
to Five
Japan,
Guys.
because Japan has a McDonald's that has
In-N-Out.
good ingredients. So
Yep.
it might just
Yeah.
be an American
Most of Europe's
McDonald's thing.
McDonald's is better.
Well, I think
Okay,
that's
so
Americans
European
are
as well.
finally coming to like a realization that a lot more Americans are coming to the realization that FDA is not doing as job as I think a lot of Americans want
They're
them
doing
to do.
exactly the opposite of what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right, regulating.
They're
things.
literally writing
Right.
the rules to make big business more money and feed us poison.
It's the whole
Okay,
thing,
that
all
is
social
right,
essentially
responsibility.
what
So
they're
it
doing.
might not be completely McDonald's fault for having shitty
No, it's not.
ingredients in the U.S.
No,
because
they're
other
just
countries
following
can
the
say,
easiest path.
yeah, we don't do this, and I know it's cheaper to do that, but you're not allowed to do that. So I do see business just doing what business does, and I still don't
Yeah.
fucking like it. But it's not necessarily as much their fault as it is the FDA, of course. Of
Yeah.
course. McDonald's, you're
No,
off the hook a
government is
little
always
bit,
the problem.
but I'd like these corporations to stand up and fucking do what's right anyway, even if it costs you some money. And I know you don't
That's
like to hear
a hard
that.
ask. It's a hard ask nowadays.
It's a hard
That's-
sell, man.
Yeah, yeah. Nowadays, when people
I
just
wouldn't
want to
care
make
if
more
it costs
money.
some money.
Yeah,
If people could actually make some money, you know,
That's
that
true.
would be
That's
kinda
true.
That's
nice.
true. That's true.
I guess.
And if
Yeah.
you had enough of a following, I mean, if you did sell good stuff, I would promote it. But typically, the only thing I'll promote is local food co-ops, third-party lab-tested things like that aren't tested by the company that's selling them themselves,
Yeah.
like things where you can get reference and reviews aside from scientists who are paid off by the company who's making the damn thing.
All
Yeah.
that
Those
stuff costs money, though, Doug. Where's the money coming from? Or follow the
Well,
money,
it's
actually.
probably
That's
going to
true.
come out of the pockets of the people who are stealing it
This
right
is where
now.
our nonprofit can also start. Is not only do we audit charities, but we set up a conglomerate that actually reviews all the products on the market, and we have a website.
They won't let us audit charities. That's where
Yeah,
they embezzle
yeah,
and watch all their money.
You know, and there's enough of the
but it's
studies out there.
we start a charity that audits charities.
So then have everybody
See?
give us the money to do the
Yes.
audits. All right.
We pay
Call-
each one of ourselves $1 million salary a
Yeah,
year.
fuck
and
that, dude. See, you're becoming a part of the problem.
I'm gonna buy a share of McDonald's. Fuck it.
Great podcast, by the way. Part of the problem. Go listen to it.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
Love
Part
it.
of the problem.
Yeah. Oh, is he stepping away from the Legion?
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Saints?
He's out on LOS. Yeah.
Why? Oh, okay.
No, but really,
Because part of the problem takes too much time.
That makes
And
sense.
he's on
should
so many
be in
new
politics.
shows, like-
He should be in politics, and
Yeah.
aside from doing tours and stuff, I mean,
Yeah.
so many people say this, but Dave Smith, by the way, that's what we were talking about. But I would love him to run for president. I mean, he probably doesn't want to do that.
I
but
think he could pull it off. I mean, he would get lambasted for all the podcast stuff, but like, honestly, in this day and age, people would just go like, "No, that guy's awesome.
Exactly.
Like, let's do this."
Exactly.
well, you know,
He
I
just needs
I
more
feel like
coverage,
what
so.
would be interesting is like a where's the money go? Because I think
Yeah.
it does come down to following the money. And so if you made a nonprofit called Where's the Money Go? And you were just going through auditing people and figuring out where the money's going, you could make a living to where you'd be able to survive and continue doing that and be a benefit to
if you
society.
said it that you could take as an individual, you could take no more than like 1% of what the company of what the nonprofit it like gets. So if the nonprofit gets $1 million, you get $10,000. But if the nonprofit gets $10 million, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you would only
Percentage.
be able to ever pay yourself a small percentage. Whereas these nonprofits that, you know, they pull in $3 million a year, and somehow the person running it pays themselves $250,000. And then
That's
the
not
person under
nonprofit.
them $200,000.
That's
And it's
not
like,
nonprofit.
Like you're using 25%.
And then also you have funding issues.
To,
like if you find out that there's fraud in this specific company and you pull out that money from the fraud, you need to direct that money to where it's supposed to go, where that was actually supposed to go. And then you have your money that you're making off of finding the fraud. There's a percentage of the money you would still have to vote where that money's going to while you're attacking this bear.
I think there's a handful of good people, or a small percentage of good people in most industries like that.
There's a shit ton of them out there, but they're all being bullied, and they're all run off of greed and watching other people run off of greed and hurt people. I think majority of the people are good people, and they just don't know how to do anything.
Right, or they're subjugated. They are bought and sold because even if they don't want to compromise, they have to because it's them or the other people.
Right.
Yeah, it's their family or the other people.
It's better if I go along to get along and I can actually help some people than if I speak up about this and get fired from the job and then I can't help anybody.
Or killed.
All right, you guys are raising my stress. I need to go. I'm gonna go stand in the yard.
I gotta
listen to some birds or some grass.
Yeah.
I probably need to exercise.
There we go.
You know what? I'm gonna go have a bonfire. That is a perfect way that we have not brought up. Is have a bonfire, sit down with some friends.
Watch the world burn. I got you.
It's just a little bit of wood.
No, it's just like a little. It's just a thing we did way back in the day that I think our DNA still has some sort of.
You're absolutely right. There is a super weird thing where even like me, one of the most like noise and tech addicted people, I can sit and just stare at a fire for a really long time.
Photons are pretty cool.
Dude, photons, especially when they're excited,
they're excited.
Very cool.
Well, yeah, that's why I stare at the sun for at least 20 minutes a day.
20 minutes a day while I'm chugging my red 40.
Oh my God. Well, all right, gentlemen, I'm going to go have some dinner.
It's been a great podcast.
Until the next episode.
All right, lower your stress levels, do something positive.